There's a moment most people don't talk about. It doesn't happen when you fail. It doesn't happen when you're weak. It happens when you start changing. When you stop chasing approval. When you stop explaining yourself. When you stop being easy to control. That's when something strange begins to happen. People start pulling away. They look at you differently. They question you. Some even turn cold. And you sit there wondering, did I do something wrong? But here's the truth no one tells you. Sometimes, people don't hate you because you're broken. They hate you because you're no longer predictable. And if you're feeling that right now, if you feel misunderstood, judged, or even rejected, don't click away. Because what you're about to hear might change the way you see everything. These are 7 Stoic truths you need to hear when people start turning against you. Truth 1. People don't hate you. They react to what you represent. Most people don't actually hate you. They hate what you remind them of. Your discipline reminds them of their excuses. Your silence reminds them of their noise. Your growth reminds them of where they're stuck. And that discomfort? It has to go somewhere. So they project. They label you as different, arrogant, too much, not the same anymore. But what they're really saying is, you're forcing me to see something in myself I don't want to face. This is why the Stoics never took criticism personally. Because they understood something most people never will. People don't see you as you are. They see you through the lens of who they are. So when someone reacts negatively to you, pause. Ask yourself, is this really about me, or about them? That one question will save you years of unnecessary pain. Truth 2. The moment you stop needing approval, you become dangerous. There's a silent rule in society. Be agreeable. Be likable. Don't make people uncomfortable. But the moment you break that rule, you become unpredictable. And nothing scares people more than someone who doesn't need validation, doesn't chase attention, doesn't beg to be understood. Because they can't control you anymore. And control is the foundation of most relationships. Think about it. The version of you that everyone liked. Was it really you? Or was it the version of you that said yes when you wanted to say no? Stayed quiet when you wanted to speak? Smiled when you felt disrespected? The moment you stop doing that, you don't lose people. You reveal them. And that revelation can feel like rejection. But it's not rejection. It's clarity. Truth 3. Not everyone deserves access to you. One of the hardest Stoic lessons is this. Just because someone has been in your life doesn't mean they deserve to stay. We're taught to hold on. To be loyal no matter what. To keep the peace. To avoid conflict. But the Stoics saw things differently. They believed your energy, your time, your attention are your most valuable assets. And not everyone should have access to them. Some people only show up when they need something. Only support you when it benefits them. Only stay when you're convenient. And the moment you set boundaries, they call you selfish. They call you cold. They call you change. But here's the reality. You didn't change. You just stopped tolerating what you used to ignore. And that threatens people who benefited from your silence. Truth 4. Being misunderstood is the price of growth. Growth is lonely. Not because you're alone, but because fewer people understand you. When you start evolving, your mindset shifts. Your priorities change. Your tolerance decreases. And suddenly, conversations that once excited you feel empty. People you once connected with feel distant. And you start questioning everything. Why don't I fit in anymore? But the Stoics would tell you, you're not losing your place. You're outgrowing it. Not everyone is meant to walk with you forever. Some people are chapters, not the whole story. And when you accept that, you stop forcing connections that no longer align. Yes, it feels uncomfortable. Yes, it feels isolating. But that discomfort? It's proof that you're moving forward. Truth 5. The stronger you become, the fewer people relate to you. Strength is attractive. But it's also intimidating. When you develop emotional control, discipline, self-respect, you stop reacting the way most people expect. You don't argue as much. You don't chase drama. You don't explain yourself to everyone. And for some people, that feels like distance. They say, "You've changed. You're not the same. You don't care anymore." But what they really mean is, "You no longer respond in a way I'm used to." And that makes them uncomfortable. Because your calmness exposes their chaos. Your clarity exposes their confusion. Your discipline exposes their lack of control. And not everyone is ready to face that. Truth 6. You are not responsible for how others feel about your growth. This is where most people get stuck. They shrink themselves to make others comfortable. They hold back their potential to avoid conflict. They stay small, just to stay accepted. But the Stoics rejected this completely. They believed, your responsibility is to your character, not to other people's comfort. If your growth makes someone uncomfortable, that's not your failure. That's their reflection. You are not here to be liked by everyone. Be understood by everyone. Be accepted by everyone. You are here to live with integrity. Act with discipline. Think with clarity. And if that costs you certain relationships, then those relationships were never built on truth to begin with. Truth 7. Peace comes when you stop explaining yourself. There's a hidden addiction most people have. The need to be understood. To explain. To justify. To prove they're not wrong. But the more you explain yourself, the more you give others control over your identity. Because now you're asking for permission to be who you are. The Stoics practiced something different. Silence. Not weak silence. Not avoidance. But controlled silence. They understood that not every opinion deserves a response. Not every misunderstanding needs correction. Not every judgment requires defense. Sometimes, the strongest move is to say nothing and keep moving forward. Because peace doesn't come from being understood. It comes from understanding yourself. Closing. So if people are starting to treat you differently, if you feel distance, tension, or even rejection, don't panic. Don't shrink. And most importantly, don't go back to who you used to be just to make others comfortable. Because maybe, just maybe, you're not losing people. You're losing illusions. And that loss is the beginning of real freedom. Stay focused. Stay disciplined. Stay grounded. Because in a world where most people are controlled by opinions, the one who isn't will always stand alone, but never weak. If this message spoke to you, don't forget to subscribe. Because most people will never tell you the truth like this. And if you're ready to build real mental strength, there's more coming.